Aretha Louise Franklin was born March 25, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee, to Barbara Siggers and Clarence LaVaughn Franklin, who would later be known as C.L. Franklin. Her father was a preacher originally from Shelby, Mississippi, where her mother was an accomplished piano player and vocalist. Alongside Aretha, her parents had three other children, and both C.L. and Barbara also had children from outside of the marriage. The family relocated to Buffalo, New York when Aretha was only 2. Before her 5th birthday, C.L. Franklin permanently relocated the family to Detroit, Michigan, where he had taken over the pastorship of New Bethel Baptist Church. Aretha's parents had a troubled marriage due to stories of her father's philandering, and in 1948, the couple separated, with Barbara relocating back to Buffalo with her son, Vaughn, from a previous relationship. Aretha's mother died on March 7, 1952, before Aretha's 10th birthday. During this time, Aretha learned how to play piano by ear. Aretha's father he gave some emotionally driven sermons that resulted in him becoming a sort of celebrity. And he would give these sermons in various churches across the country. He became in demand, and his celebrity status led to his home being visited by various celebrities, including Clara Ward, James Cleveland, early Caravan members Albertina Walker and Inez Andrews, as well as Martin Luther King, Jackie Wilson, and Sam Cooke. Aretha attended Northern High School, but she dropped out during her sophomore year. Just after her mother's death, Franklin began singing solos at New Bethel, debuting with the hymn, Jesus Be a Fence Around Me. 4 years later, when Franklin was 14, her father began managing her and bringing her on the road with him in his gospel caravan tours for her to perform in various churches. He helped his daughter get signed to her first recording deal with JVB Records, where her first album, Songs of Faith, was issued in 1956. 2 singles, Never Grow Old and Precious Lord Take My Hand, were released to the gospel radio stations. At the age of 16, Franklin went on tour with Dr. Martin Luther King, and in 1968 she sang at his funeral. After turning 18, Franklin confided to her father that she aspired to follow Sam Cooke to record pop music. Serving as her manager, C.L. Franklin agreed to the move and helped to produce a 2-song demo that soon was brought to the attention of Columbia Records, who signed her in 1960. In 1961, Columbia issued Franklin's first secular album, Aretha, with the Ray Bryant Combo. The album featured her first single to chart the Billboard Hot 100, Won't Be Long. And it was also peaked at number 7 on the R&B chart. She later embarked on a secular career recording for Columbia Records, but only achieving modest success. So in November of 1966, she chose not to renew her contract with Columbia after having been with the company for 6 years. Instead, she signed to Atlantic Records, and following her signing to Atlantic Records in 1967, Franklin achieved commercial success with songs such as Respect and You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Spanish Harlem, and Think. By the end of the 1960s, she had earned the title the Queen of Soul. In January of 1967, she recorded the song I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You. The song was later issued that February, and it shot up to number 1 on the R&B chart, and it also peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. And this gave Aretha her first top 10 pop single. In 1980, after leaving Atlantic Records, Franklin signed with Clive Davis at Arista Records, and that same year she gave a command performance at the Royal Albert Hall in front of Queen Elizabeth. Aretha Franklin was the mother of 4 sons. She became pregnant at age 12 and gave birth to her first child, named Clarence, after her father, on January 28, 1955. The father of the child was Donald Burke, a boy she knew from school. On January 22, 1957, at age 14, Aretha Franklin had her second child, named Edward, after his father, Edward Jordan. Both of her children took her family's surname. While Franklin was pursuing her career and hanging out with friends, Franklin's grandmother, Rachel, and sister Irma took turns raising her children. Franklin's third child, Ted White, was born in February of 1964 and is professionally known as Teddy Richards. He is the guitar backing for his mother's band during live concerts. Her youngest son, Keekalf Cunningham, was born on March 28, 1970, and he is the child of her road manager, Ken Cunningham. Aretha Franklin was married twice. She married Theodore Ted White in 1961 at the age of 19, and this was despite objections from her father. After a contentious marriage that included domestic violence, she separated from White in 1968 and later divorced him in 1969. Franklin then married her second husband, actor Glenn Turman, on April 11, 1978, at her father's church. Franklin and Turman separated in 1982 and they divorced in 1984. Aretha's half-sister, Carol Kelly, and she is her father, C.L. Franklin's daughter, by Mildred Jennings, who was then a 12-year-old congregant of the New Salem Baptist Church in Memphis, where the Reverend C.L. was pastor. Aretha was performing at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas on June 10, 1979, when her father, C.L. Franklin, was shot twice at point-blank range in his Detroit home. After 6 months at Henry Ford Hospital, still in a state of coma, C.L. was moved back to his home with 24-hour nursing care. Aretha moved back to Detroit in late 1982 to assist with the care of her father, who eventually died at Detroit's New Light Nursing Home on July 27, 1984. On August 13, today, 2018, Aretha Franklin, on August 13, 2018, Aretha Franklin was reported to be gravely ill at her home in Detroit. She was reported to be under hospice care and surrounded by friends and family. Aretha Franklin died at her home in Detroit today, August 16th, and she was 76 years old. The cause was reported to be advanced pancreatic cancer. Rest in peace, Riri.